Coons at night and squirrels in the day. That's the combo dog. I've spent the last 13 years training and hunting with this style of dog in the Arkansas Ozarks. That journey has taught me a lot of lessons, both the easy and the hard way. In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest things I've learned so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. If you're thinking about running a combo dog or already have one and trying to make it work, stick around. This video is for you. Lesson number one is you cannot force a dog to be a combo dog. You cannot force a dog to hunt what it doesn't want to hunt, for that matter. And if you do, it's doing so out of not wanting to get whooped or not wanting to be in trouble. So it's not doing it for the hunt, for the joy of the hunt. And if a dog's not loving what it's doing, it's my experience that they're not going to be a very good dog at that. So with that said, when I got into tree dogs, I wanted to run coons. Squirrel dogs actually kind of came second to me, so I started my dogs on coons, and I didn't have problems with them. The dogs would run them. I'd cage trap coons, and I'd just get the dogs going just like I start anything else. And I'd have a coon dog. And once I got that dog where I thought it was solid on coons, when I could take it out reliably hunting, I started saying, hey, I might as well start training this dog to hunt squirrels too. And here's where I learned a big lesson, okay? Almost every dog I had liked squirrels a whole lot more than it liked coons. So I had several dogs that have completely abandoned the coon game once they got into the squirrel game. I don't know what it is about those little tree rats, but they're pure crack for most dogs. And that goes to what I was saying about you can't force a dog to be a combo dog. I learned that the hard way too. If they make a decision, if they're just on fire about squirrels and they can take or leave coons, let them take or leave coons, because you've got a dog telling you, hey, I'm going to be a bang-up squirrel dog, and I could care less about what we're doing out there at night. Patch is my finished Mullins Feist, and I got him as a squirrel dog. I started him the opposite way, and he got fired up about squirrels really fast. And once he turned on with squirrels and he was what I considered a finished squirrel dog, I tried to take him coon hunting with me. And he actually would tree a coon for like the first year and a half. If he picked up a hot trail, he would trail him to the tree and he would bark on him. And I probably shot, I don't know, he's 6 years old. I've been hunting hard with him for the last 3 years. And I've probably shot about a dozen coons out over him. And you know, that slowly went away with him though. He slowly lost his interest. That dog went absolutely nuts over squirrels, and it turned into the point that all he wanted to do was chase squirrels. And when I started taking him out at night, he would just chase flying squirrels, which we got tons of those too. And it just got to the point where it was pointless to run that dog on anything but squirrels because he didn't want to, he wouldn't. And it's best to let a dog just excel at what it's trying to tell you it loves to do. You know, on that topic, I would not start a dog on like squirrels if you started it on coons until it's finished on coons, and vice versa. You don't want a dog that's crappy at running multiple species. I want a dog that's at least going to be solid, that I can depend on one. I've definitely played with the different breeds. I've trained Feist, curs, hounds, and I've learned the breeds definitely play a part. Feists, they've always been a lot hotter nosed for me. So they're not going to run any long trails for you, which means they may not be the best coon dog at night. To me, a Feist is pretty much just a pure squirrel dog. Now, I know there's guys out there whose Feists are treeing coons, and if they are, man, that's freaking awesome. I hope they keep doing it for you. It hasn't been my luck to get Feist to turn into awesome multi-purpose dogs, at least dual dogs, coons and squirrels. My best dog I've had as a dual dog has been a cur dog. She was half mountain cur, half Jack Russell, and that dog was just as fired up to hunt coons at night as it was to hunt squirrels in the daytime. And I was going to get a mess of squirrels and I was going to get coons when I turned her out, and she was a pure joy to hunt. I hunted her from when she was 18 months until she died at 11 years old, and man, I look back on that dog fondly. She was a dandy. Her size I really liked. She was probably just a hair over 30 pounds. For most of her life, which means she was big enough to handle herself, so coons couldn't work her over too bad. She never did get tore up by coyotes real bad. She got in a few fights with them, and she held her own pretty well in those fights. That's important to me. I don't want my dogs killed in front of me out there. I know it can happen, but if I can avoid it, I will. She was mainly a nose-heavy dog, probably used her eyes and her ears about 5% of the time, which meant squirrels would timber on her. They did timber on her, but she was when she treed, there was usually a squirrel there, and she was really good. And I wouldn't view her being nose only as a disadvantage at all. She was a solid dog for me. I also trained a walker to do both, and I that was fun. That I don't suggest. I ran into that. That dog's size was wonderful. I liked it. She was big and durable. You know, a big 50-pound walker. And with her, she would tree coons and she would tree squirrels, but she was way more squirrely than she was coony. And she would pick up a coon track and she'd run them. I did a lot of night hunting with her out on the lake for raccoons, especially in the fall whenever persimmons on the shorelines were ripe. Those coons were down there nailing them persimmons. I had a lot of good fun then. But if she hit a squirrel track, it was over. And her being a walker, you know, she had a colder nose than my Feists and even my mountain cur. And so she would pick up old squirrel tracks, which isn't good. So I got a lot of den trees with her. And that dog was all fired up to hunt, so she was going to tree if I turned her out. And being the walker, if that meant she had to go to a mile, she was going to go a mile and she would find a squirrel. And I spent a lot of time, you know, walking 20, 25 minutes to a barking walker to a tree that had a squirrel in it about 20 minutes ago that had long since timbered out. Now you can control that a little bit, you know, with an e-collar. I was never much on turning a hunt into an obedience lesson of constantly having to just tone a dog back into range. I'm a pleasure hunter. To me, that takes away from the enjoyment of the hunt. I would much rather get a smaller dog if I want to stay closer. It's nature, it's physics. Little dog can't get as far away from you as easy as a big dog can. So the Feists and the curs, they hunted closer to me. And I naturally just kind of liked that. I didn't like having to tone them back to me all the time. The downside to a hound as a combo dog, at least that walker that I trained, is she was not silent on track. So when she would strike a squirrel track, grrr, well, there goes the squirrel. That's a major disadvantage when you're running squirrels. Her nose was colder than I liked. She was loud on the track. That gave squirrels a lot of warning. Didn't matter so much with the coons, but it did not help with the squirrel game. You know, looking back, I still love a combo dog, but I'm starting to see the wisdom and just having Feists for squirrels, and then I'm looking at getting a hound here pretty soon and just turning that hound into a pure coon dog. It does kind of cause some trash, you know, some trash issues. You turn a dog out close to sun going down. Sometimes that dog is treeing squirrels that had maybe been out a little bit later, just denned up not long ago. And I'm just to the point now that if I want to coon hunt, I want to go coon hunt, and you can buy a purpose-built coon dog that's going to be better than a jack of all trades, you know, a purpose-built tool basically. And the same goes for squirrels. I like Feists. I like their eyes, their eye power more than their nose for squirrels. I think year-round, if you average out the numbers, eyes kill more squirrels for you than noses do. Just my opinion there, but I firmly believe that. Now that said, I don't know if I can give up the combo dog, especially if I get more curs and Feists. I'm probably still going to find myself taking them out at night a little bit and saying, hey, let's see what they do. But there you go. That's been my experience with combo dogs. If you guys are just getting into it, I hope this guide gave you some insight into what you can expect and kind of help you out. If you guys got questions, leave them in the comments. I'll answer anything I know how to answer.